History made. Chicago-born Robert Francis Prevost becomes Pope Leo XIV, the first American ever to lead the Catholic Church. What will this former Peru missionary and Vatican insider bring to St. Peter's throne? White Smoke delivers daily bulletins tracking this unprecedented pontificate as it unfolds. Will Leo XIV continue Francis's inclusive vision or forge a new path blending American pragmatism with Latin American experience? And what does his papal name choice signal about his priorities? White Smoke. Essential daily insights where ancient tradition meets modern challenge. New episodes every day wherever you get your podcasts.
Caloroga Shark Media.
Hi there, I'm Johnny Mac with 5 good news stories. Thanks to listener Richard who sent this one in. A golden retriever helped rescue a missing toddler. Brad was home and said if it wasn't for Zoe, no one would have realized that this boy was running around in front of the house. The dog started absolutely losing her mind. She started barking like crazy, borderline screaming. Zoe was bothered by something outside. Brad said, I saw what looked to be a 3-year-old boy walking on the driveway of our next-door neighbor. He ran outside, alerted his neighbor. I went to talk to him, make sure it wasn't one of his kids or a kid he knew. They tried asking the boy, who are you? What are you doing there? That didn't work. The kid kind of shrugged, never said a word. The boy gestured to a house across the street. They went across the street with the boy. No one there recognized him. We were doing everything we could to find out where the kid came from. He called the police. The operator asked, is he wearing gray sweatpants? After confirmation, they heard the operator yell, they found him. Police officers arrived a few minutes later. A statement from the PD says officers arrived quickly, confirmed the child's identity, and reunited them with their parent after a medical evaluation. The report does state that the citizen who located the child was alerted by their dog. Thankfully, this incident had a good and swift ending. A 66-year-old grandmother who has already biked solo through 12 countries across 3 continents is working on traveling to 100 countries. Lee took up cycling in 2013 and told CNN Travel, my goal is to visit at least 100 countries. Travel's like a drug. Once you taste it, you just can't stop. Lee only speaks Mandarin and employs the use of translator apps in order to communicate with locals. She's on a tight budget. So far, she's camped in parks, gas stations, even cemeteries, and stayed at the homes of Good Samaritans she's met along the way. She said, before cycling, I was heavily dependent on others and felt like a frog in a well. Now, I'm a wild wolf, free, fearless, and independent. Love it. Nice job by Mommy, the Western Santa Cruz Galapagos tortoise. Mommy has become the oldest first-time mom of her species. Mommy has lived at the Philadelphia Zoo most of her life. She and Abrazo, who's 96, are the new parents to 4 hatchlings. The species is critically endangered. The hatchlings will reside at the zoo for at least 5 years. They'll live in a protected habitat in the reptile and amphibian house. Rachel Metz is the zoo's VP of Animal Well-Being and Conservation and explains they won't be in the yard yet because they're far too small. The yard is obviously designed for 300 or 400-pound animals, not half-pound animals. Mommy arrived at the zoo in 1932, straight from the Galapagos. Abrazo arrived at the zoo in 2020. The staff introduced the two in 2022, but they didn't, hit it off until recently. Metz says at first it was clear he didn't quite know what he was doing. He was backward. So the zoo tweaked their habitat and swapped out some material and made some better digging spots for egg laying. In November, Mommy buried 16 eggs. Now what's interesting, if you incubate at 85.1 degrees, hatchlings are most likely females. Temperatures below 82.4 degrees produce males. Metz says, I always refer to it as cool dudes and hot chicks. Paleontologists in Canada have identified a new tail club swinging armored dinosaur. That's right, notosaurid, have a flexible tail and 4 toes. Now, researchers have explained there are 2 main groups of ankylosaurs. As you know, notosaurid ankylosaurs have a flexible tail and 4 toes, while ankylosaurid ankylosaurs have a sledgehammer-like tail club and only 3 toes on their feet. And if you think I didn't make 7 takes at that sentence and 5 edits, you're crazy. That was not easy to say. Anyway, unlike the well-known footprints of Tetrapodosaurus borealis found across North America, those of course have 4 toes. The new tracks only have 3 toes. The new species has been named Ruopodsaurus clava, which means the tumble-down lizard with a club mace, referencing both the mountainous location in which the tracks were found and the distinctive tail clubs of the dinosaurs. That story was exhausting. All right, one more, and this is a downer. I've told you about this one before. The 9-year-old boy who would come out and say hi to the sanitation worker in the mornings. Yeah, little Noah, his mom said for years, every Tuesday, he'd run outside to wave, and the garbage man always waved back, honked the horn, and acknowledged him. Noah and the drivers were friends for 4 years, but a new company took over the garbage route. The driver no longer goes past Noah's house. Mom says when we told him it was the last time he'd see the garbage man, Noah immediately ran inside to write him a note and grab some of his old garbage truck toys to give to him. It was so sweet. He just wanted to say thank you. It was like saying goodbye to part of his childhood. And no, you're crying. I'm not crying. See you next time.